Welcome to another edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you fellas doing?
Doing all right, man. Bulls picking kind of a nobody pick. I don't know. At least unless you're a big college basketball guy, I guess them for almost blowing the game against TCU, man. But man, I don't know. I thought the draft went a little surprising. Thought some guys fell, other guys moved up. Paolo being the one of them. So I don't know, Zoo. What do you think about it, man?
Yeah, I was shocked, man. Because Woj before the draft tweeted out 1, 2, 3. That's pretty much like set in stone. But then last minute, Woj tweeted out, man, they're considering Banchero when they tweeted out. Oh, I saw the odds, man, dude. Jabari Smith was minus 6,000 for the first overall pick.
Yep.
Yeah. When Woj tweeted that initial tweet out, but then a couple seconds later, like, you could have got Banchero at plus 550, man. So my God, and that day after, man, something happened, man. The odds swung that night of. So some heavy hitters put some money in, and they made a fucking killing. I don't know how they got their source, man. Whoever their source was, who bet big on that and swing the odds from plus 550 to minus odds, man, they knew something, man.
They definitely knew something.
They definitely did.
They knew more than Woj and Shams. And shout out to Woj and Shams. They had like a little bit of a battle royale, I think, around the Knicks pick, the Knicks in Detroit thing.
And they were both right, man. The crazy part, they were both right.
Yeah. It was kind of cool in the moment to see that because, I kind of stayed off Twitter probably for most of the draft because it's just they're kind of, and I had to mute the notifications on my phone because they just kind of mess up the whole surprise factor when it comes to the draft. But, so, as you guys could probably tell, we're going to get into the NBA draft. It happened last Thursday. Like people said, it was a lot of kind of, surprising picks that happened in that lottery round. So I wanted to ask the guys what were their thoughts overall with the draft. And Zoo, I'm gonna start with you this time.
Yeah, Banchero, man. I'm still looking at that guy. Physically, man, I can see why Orlando likes this dude. Because if you look at him physically, man, and this year, he might be putting up 18 points in his rookie of the year, man. Be rookie of the year this year.
They need him to.
Yeah, because the way they play, man, like they struggle offensively, man. My God, this guy could get buckets. And in that offense and amount of touches, because like he's playing with guards. They're not really ball dominant. So this guy could be more like a point forward type of dude. And he'd be dropping, if he drops like 20 and 10 as a rookie, man, they'd be looking real good, man. Because I don't think Jabari Smith can be that guy in his first year. He's more a catch.
Not with Jalen Green on his team.
Yeah, he's not as much of a playmaker.
He's a nice catch and shoot guy right now. But Banchero got a little handle to his game, a little inside outside game. So I can see why Orlando. But I don't know what Orlando's thinking. What were they finessing everyone with like the fake noise right now, or trying to pull a Danny Ainge, be like, yo, we want Banchero. Other people, man. We want Banchero. We might trade down to like the third pick so we get our guy and get an extra draft asset. Trying to finesse someone, a.k.a. Jason Tatum style. Like, I feel like that's what they were doing. They try to be smart, but I feel like Houston's like, nah, we ain't buying that. Or be like, oh, we don't really care. Jabari Smith, Banchero, whatever. So I feel like there was a lot of finessing with all the noise because all the noise was Jabari Smith. So they definitely finessed it. Like Shams, Woj, they did not see this coming, man. And I give the Orlando Magic props for that. But if this is a last-minute change of decision-making,
that's what I was thinking.
That's a bad look if it's a last-second decision-making. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they were trying to finesse everyone, trying to get an extra draft asset and pull a Danny Ainge. So that pick was actually shocking to me. It was shocking to me that Banchero went first after all the noise of Jabari Smith.
I mean, I think we could agree if you're looking at like, if you have the first overall pick, and I know we've talked about this, so when there's like not a clear-cut winner, right, in the draft, it's almost a burden to have the first pick because
you better you're the one that fuck up.
Yeah, because you're the one that can mess up first, right? And it cuts down to the Thunder, Rockets who have second and third pick. They have a smaller choice to choose from, right? So I do think Banchero is a better fit if you're looking at the team that they have. I know we've talked about Jabari Smith going there and with all their height that they have. Banchero is kind of a nice piece. They do need a wing guy, but he's 6'10", but he can play like a small forward, right? I mean, you could play power forward, you could play in the post. He's kind of the guy that they need for a very lost backcourt with Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs and kind of an up-and-coming front court.
And Markelle.
Yeah. But with like Wendell, you got Mo Bamba over there, restricted free agent. But I do think it was a good pick. I was shocked. I agree, Zoo. I was expecting Jabari. And then I think we all agree that the Thunder were going to go with Chet. I think he kind of was a
Sam
good
Presti.
fit.
I feel like Sam Presti might have taken this dude number one overall.
I think so. But I also wonder if Jabari falling, if he even questioned it. I don't think so. I think he knew he wanted Chet the whole time. But the Rockets got a steal, man. I think that Jabari's a better fit for that team than Banchero would be, just because of the ball dominance of their backcourt with KPJ and Jalen Green. So I think if their ability to drive and kick out to him, they don't have John Wall on their payroll anymore. Maybe they could do a little something there. That's saving them about $30 million. So I don't know. I mean, it's a young team, and I think Jabari is a good spot up guy to have, along with a little height. So but like I said, man, the biggest thing for me, the Pistons got what they wanted, man. They got that backcourt we talked about.
God.
Once I saw that he hadn't worked out for the Kings, Jaden Ivey, I knew it right away he was going to the Pistons once he fell past 3. Because the Kings, man, Keegan Murray's not a bad player, but they clearly had some animosity, almost like a LaMelo situation. He didn't even want to work out for the Warriors, right? Back, a couple years back. Maybe it was a similar situation with Jaden. So I think out of the top 5, I like that.
Man, in an interview, he's like, "Yeah, Sacramento is not the worst place I could go to, but but not gonna lie, when you see Jaden Ivey's reaction, crying, pure happiness,
great.
In my mind, he's like, thank the good Lord I'm not going to Sacramento, man.
That's why he was crying.
Those were tears of dude. Like if he got drafted by the Sacramento Kings, it would have been tears of sadness. But he got tears of joy, man. I swear to God, man, this dude, like, he did not want to go to Sacramento, and I don't blame him. Their track record, like, I don't know if you guys saw this. The picks afterwards, man. Jimmer Fredette, Klay Thompson right after. Marvin Bagley picked right after Luka Doncic, man. Like, Thomas Robinson right after Damian Lillard. So legit, like, they have messed up so many times that they could make a compilation highlight tape of the dudes picked right after, though, man. So, like, Sacramento is just probably the worst franchise in the Basketball Association. They got a whole new general manager now, so hopefully they can fix this mess, but good luck with that. Good luck with that. But they might have added another player to that list, man. You draft a Keegan Murray type of dude, man. I see zero upside with this dude.
Really?
Zero upside.
I feel like he hit his peak already.
Yeah, exactly, man. I feel like this guy out of Iowa is supposed to be a nice wing guy, man. Otto Porter. And Otto Porter ain't no elite pick, man. Otto Porter's a nice role player, man. He's like the 6th, 7th guy on your bench, man. Hit some champion, whatever on the bandwagon. The dude can hit some open threes, man, but he's gonna be in that type of role. But if you're a top 4 pick and you're Otto Porter, I'm sorry, that's just underachieving, man. He's a nice role player, and that's what I see in Keegan Murray right now. But Jaden Ivey, man, I see a little special in him, man. Yeah. And I feel like he's in the perfect situation with Cade Cunningham. Because Jaden Ivey, he ain't a true point, man. No. He ain't a true playmaker. No. He's a bucket getter, man. And like my comp is Donovan Mitchell type style, man. The same type of body, more of a scoring mentality, smaller type of guard. Him with Cade Cunningham as a playmaker, man. Yep. That's a true point. You get ability to play with that dude. Beautiful.
He'll get you the ball,
situation.
That's for sure.
Beautiful situation, man. And as a Chicago Bulls fan, I'm like, dang, Detroit's young core right now, pretty nice. It's pretty nice, man.
And they offloaded Jeremy,
Yeah,
so
they went full young, man. They offloaded Jeremy. They have some cap space. I don't know. They may go for someone else, but getting Duren also, like, they've been a nice young core, and they're going full young. And you got the cornerstone in Cade Cunningham, and now you got your complimentary piece of Ivy, and see what we could do from there. But man, as a Detroit
Central's
fan,
making moves.
As a Detroit fan, man, you got to be happy.
Yeah.
Because they went exactly to plan. Like, they didn't even need to trade up. They didn't even need to trade up to get Ivy. So, my Lord.
You have to think with the Kings, I don't think they should have just drafted Ivy because it could have just been a really bad situation. I just think the reason why to me, Keegan Murray, like to Zoo's point, he's maxed out. Maybe go for a guy like Shaedon Sharpe. Somebody else has got a little bit more upside or something. Like, I don't understand, because their trade packages for that pick must have not been as good. Because, the best thing to do in that situation is to trade down and get more picks, because they probably could have got 2 more better players later in the draft. So they just might have not have gotten great trade packages. So with the Kings, it's like, it's going to be really painful to see if, Ivy just tears it up with the Pistons, and Keegan
Pick
Murray is
after.
like you say is a solid addition, but he's just not Jaden Ivey. That's going to be really hard to see. So, or maybe in a guy like Shaedon Sharpe, who they could have maybe picked as just like a wild card, and he ends up tearing up with the Blazers. But we'll see with that. I agree with Zoo. The Pistons, man, like, you know, I love the Ivy pick just because it fell to them. They didn't have to give up anything, but I also like the Duren pick because it puts them in a position where they have all their guys young, all their guys can grow together. Duren could end up being a really nice, I guess, compliment to the other big. I think they got Sadiq Bey. He's a nice little, I guess, power forward, small forward type guy that can shoot. So I really like the direction they're going in because, you know, for a long time, Detroit's kind of just been that middling team too. But, you know, it's crazy when you draft a guy like Cade from last year.
Man.
It changes the whole trajectory of the whole franchise. So I thought they had a really good draft. You know, like I said, Shaedon Sharpe went to the Blazers. I think that was an upside pick. I don't necessarily think that's going to help now.
I feel like he's going to be a late bloomer.
Yeah,
like, I feel like he's going to take a couple of years of developing, like sort of like Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons type guy. Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
Who's a restricted free agent right now?
Dude, he's going to get paid. That dude was a bucket. But I feel like he's going to be it's going to take time. And Damian Lillard, he got no time left. The guy's in the 30s. He's in his 30s. Like, he got probably like 3-4 years left, if lucky, in his prime to try to win a championship. So I don't know how that pick helps him in the immediate future.
Doesn't match.
So the timetable of a super young guy, played no college basketball, unless he's like one of those basketball savants that came straight from high school and ball out immediately in the NBA as a first-year player. Not even Kobe Bryant did that, or Kevin Garnett. So
it always takes at least a year or two.
So I'm like, it takes a guy to develop his athletic or his physical abilities. As far as he's a skinnier guy, man. So I don't know, man. It might take a couple of years before he matures into the type of player that he can be. So good luck to you, Blazers. Good luck with Grant and Damian Lillard. Good luck with that.
Yeah. I also think. Go ahead. Go. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say. I like on the Central Division thing. You know, I think that the Pacers are kind of making a lot of moves here. Might be trading Brogdon and all that, but the Cavs picking Ochai Agbaji, I think that was a quietly nice pick for the
Cavs.
Polished player, can hit. He was going
he can
off from three in March Madness. I mean, we saw him carrying that Kansas team, going 6 for 6 to start a game and won. But I like his athleticism. I like his versatility going in the backcourt with Darius Garland. I think we talked about this so many times with this Cavs team. One of the weirdest looking teams in the NBA by far, just with the look. I think maybe you'll see some other teams start shifting that way, just putting a bunch of tall guys that can stretch the floor.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But I do think Agbaji is kind of the one guy that they need to fit into that shooting guard / small forward role. And I think that'll mesh well. I think that was a good value pick. And then Ty Washington to the Rockets. I like that as a point guard. Not necessarily a guy that needs the ball all the time, but can facilitate a little bit. And then also I did like the Johnny Davis pick to the Wizards. I think that gives Beal maybe a reason to stay, maybe stick around.
No, the reason the guy's staying is $200 million.
Exactly.
But
at least give him a running mate. At least give him a running mate.
That's the only reason, man. Like, he might like it in DC, don't want to move, but number one, that list, that money, man.
Oh, of course.
Because you know what that guy could do, man. 1 year later, I'm sad. Demand a trade, man. So
exactly. But I do like the Johnny Davis. Johnny can get buckets. I think we know that. He was kind of a Wisconsin kid that didn't really usually play like Wisconsin historically does. You know, they don't really ever have a guy that puts up 20 a game. And here comes Johnny Davis. Obviously, he has his own commercial, and they, talking about him going next overall. He went 10th. I mean, I think that was around where people had
Taco
him.
Bell commercial?
Yeah, the Taco Bell commercial, yeah. So I am happy for him. I did get to watch him a lot playing against Indiana and playing in the Big Ten. But I do think that the Wizards could use any help they can get, and they just always seem to sign stretch fours. So by giving them another guard, maybe it'll give them a little boost in the East.
Yeah.
Man. But team I want to bring up, though, I don't know what you guys' perspective on this team is, the New York Knicks, man. They had a lottery pick, didn't really feel anyone, so they flipped the pick. And they flipped it for 3 first-round picks. But when you dig deeper into those first-round picks, all heavily lottery protected. And a lot of them could turn into nothing. So
future trade piece?
Yeah, people are saying like maybe they flip these like when you say first round, these are like fraudulent first round picks. Like, this is like fake first round picks because a lot of them are going to cash into nothing. They did it for cap space. So I don't know what they're thinking because a lot of rumors out there, Jalen Brunson is a priority instead of prioritizing another young guy to join the New York Knicks that is trying to win now. He's got a guy in Tom Thibodeau who made the playoffs last year, and this year was just an absolute embarrassment. They regressed back to the mean. I still don't know how last year's Knicks team made the playoffs. The team's just not that good outside of RJ Barrett and a couple of veterans. The team's just not that talented. What do you guys think about their strategy of just like, no draft and just going potential cap space?
I think what they're doing is I don't even think it's a rumor. I think they're going full in on Jalen Brunson. I think they're doing that, and I also think they're going to try to flip Julius Randle's contract and get something for that. Because it don't make sense with the picks. Like having lottery protected picks, like it basically means you're not going to get those picks. Because it maybe if it was top 3, top 5 protected, something like that, maybe you could be like, okay, that makes more sense or something like that. But or unprotected, which nobody tries to do because everybody likes to put protection on picks. But I'm just saying, like, I really do think they're going to go all in on Brunson. They're going to be clearing space for maybe another free agent acquisition. I don't know how the contracts work for next year to try to get somebody, but I do know they're going to be trying to flip Julius Randle because if you saw Julius Randle last year, he had a real tough situation with the crowds in New York, and I don't think that's a situation that I would say is ideal for the Knicks front office and him. So if they could flip him for something, I don't know if you could get picks or another player, but I think that's what they're trying to do. And I guess you could argue they're in the middle of the lottery, so it's like, and plus New York hasn't done well in the draft, so it's kind of like
I was gonna say they're a glorified version of the Kings. That's really what they are when it comes to drafting.
Historically, they have missed on a lot of picks.
Yeah, so it's like, why try to make that mistake? he might.
Maybe they didn't trust themselves, decent. Sean. Don't hate.
Yeah,
maybe
probably is exactly what it is. They did not trust themselves, and they were just like, what, just flip and then see if we can get some free agents.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to read. I mean, I do think that they'll probably move on from Julius. Just, he's expensive. He's not really productive in the sense that they need him to be being that number one guy, right? That was kind of assumed after he was putting up 24 and 10 when he first got there. But I do think they want to kind of overhaul everything, build it around RJ, get a backcourt in with Jalen, right, and kind of go from there. I mean, at this point, they're in such of a no man's land in the Eastern Conference that you have to make a decision, and I think they just decided to go for it, and just kind of clean slate it with a couple guys sticking around, So Zoo, to your point, I don't know exactly what their strategy was here because I don't think you can ever read their strategy, but I do think it's kind of trying to clean the slate just enough to make some moves where they could maybe potentially get into the 6 through 8 range in the playoffs.
And try to get into the next race of the pissed off superstar and see hopefully, because I keep saying free agents coming to the Knicks, but the Knicks don't really they don't get a lot of great free agents outside of when's the last one? Melo? That's it. Like they don't get a lot
Melo's
of
through a trade. Like they're a true free
true.
agent. Next
Yeah.
guy was Amari Stoudemire, and that deal turned out to be disaster.
A year.
It turned out to be a disaster after his first 2 years with his agent.
Yeah.
Too many punch and fire extinguisher boxes. That's what it was. But yeah, I mean,
I thought it was knee problems, but hey,
could be both.
Yeah, I don't know. The Knicks are going to be interesting because they're going to be definitely a part of the topic. The next topic we're going to be talking about, which is free agency, right around the corner. I think it's July 1st. It starts second.
Day before now. It starts June 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern now.
Okay, June 30th. Okay, so right around the corner, free agency will be starting. So, like I said, I want to get the guys' opinions on some of the free agent deals that could be coming, some trades that could come from that, just a whole smorgasbord of topics with this particular free agency. And P-Bush, I'm going to start with you.
I'm going to start with a guard that we really haven't been able to see to the full extent, and this is what I was kind of alluding to with the Pacers earlier. I think they might try and go for Colin Sexton, pair him up with Halliburton in that backcourt, restricted, try and match him, especially if they're trying to move Brogdon. And I don't know, I can't confirm if there were a lot of Miles Turner rumors as well, but if they decide to kind of make some moves with those guys, maybe get some capital back, maybe clearing that cap space. Miles Turner is not a cheap contract. Then maybe try and go for Sexton and try and outbid the Cavs, because based on what the Cavs drafted, how Garland played, maybe even trying to keep Rubio, I don't really think there's a spot for Sexton in Cleveland. And hey, maybe he just needs a fresh start, not too far away. So I do think that could be a move. And I also think that if they were to move Brogdon, I think he's going to go down to Dallas to replace Brunson. I think that'd be a solid move for the Cowboys, for the Mavericks. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that could be not necessarily all on the same day or any trades made immediately. But I do think if Brogdon's looking for a home, Dallas is not bad because they could use the defensive presence. Man, that's an absolute statement, and he can still
Especially
score.
in the backcourt, yeah.
And he can take a little pressure off Luka too, just like we saw Brunson starting to do this year. So I think if they were looking for a replacement and didn't want to sign Brunson, maybe make a move for Brogdon.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. We don't forget Colin Sexton, man. He was averaging 20 points when he played.
Yep, exactly.
Like the dude's at least a sixth man in the NBA, but with the rise of Darius Garland, there's no way they give Colin Sexton a big contract, especially when you give big money to Lauri Markkanen. In the future, you have to pay Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the cap situation over there, they ain't investing that. So that's a good thing for Colin Sexton, man. But what I got to look at is what recently happened, man. John Wall to the Clippers.
Yeah.
That was mind-blowing. Because with the Washington, with the Houston Rockets just saying bye-bye to John Wall, man. Because they just got him off the team. Los
Paid
Angeles
basically his whole salary.
Exactly. Paid pretty much his whole salary. I think he gave up $7-8 million or whatever just to get off the contract. But John Wall, he might get a mid-level exception for the Los Angeles Clippers. And they're getting a guy, when healthy, is a perennial all-star. People forget how good John Wall is, man.
Yeah. I haven't seen him play in so long.
I'm telling you, man. He ain't washed yet, man. He ain't washed yet, man. Dude, when he was on that Houston Rockets team before he got injured, he was after 20.6 assists. Yeah. And you're upgrading from Reggie Jackson.
I love Reggie Jackson, man. Come on,
he's a nice scorer. He's a scorer.
He got them game 6 in the conference finals. Like he's just run rate guy. Like he can ball.
He's a six, dude. Oh my! He's a six-man scorer type of guy. Jordan Clarkson, Jamal Crawford. That's his role on a basketball team.
Not a point. No.
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
I just
you added John Wall to that team. Jesus Christ! John Wall he's a really good passer. People forget how good of a passer John Wall is. People forget how good of a defensive player he was when he got better in Washington after he matured. And his opportunity to play with dynamic wings. That he just becomes a true point guard. He doesn't even need to score the basketball. Like his responsibility is like, John Wall, we don't need you to get 20 points. We need you to get 10 dimes and feed these guys. So my God, that fit with that roster. And on the potential contract they're gonna get. Oh yeah. Obviously he's gonna be healthy. You got PG who's a Band-Aid, Kawhi who's a Band-Aid, John Wall who's a Band-Aid. There's a lot of Band-Aids on. There's a lot of Band-Aids on the team.
In LA,
but when you got Band-Aids, you just gotta pray for a good luck and good health, and you're gonna roll the dice and get John Wall for pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I mean for the value. Nothing. For the value, you might as well just go for it.
Why did Houston pay $40 million to make him go away?
Man, because they're trying to tank, man, because they weren't gonna play him again.
Why are they trying to tank? They got decent guys now on the team. They're not like a tank team. They're not tanking for next year.
They don't want to get like the 10 seed. You know what I mean? Like they don't want the 9 or 10. Like you're either going for
that's a red flag. No. I feel like it'd be one more year to take it. Like you got the Houstons, the OKCs, the Detroits, Sacramento. All these nice young teams. One more round of tanking.
Sacramento might be.
Sacramento is actually not tanking. So that's the funniest part. But these three teams I just named are tanking because you're looking at next year. This Wembanyama guy overseas, man. This French dude. This French dude overseas. Like these GMs they are salivating of a 7-2 guy that can shoot. So these teams are tanking right now. Yeah. So they know what they're doing. Because if I'm a team I'm tanking for next year's draft, it's a good year to tank. It's a really good year to tank. Rudy Gobert size with a 3-point shot. So, but John Wall to the Clippers, though, man. Dude, I think the Clippers might be the favorite if healthy. That's a big if, but I feel like if healthy.
You got it. Yo. You got John Wall. John Wall's got to be an all-star if that's going to be the case.
Yeah. John Wall still got game, man. John Wall still got game.
Game? You got him.
I had to see it.
That's what he would have to be. Like, I don't.
Zoo's confident. You better place your bet right now.
This John Wall fit my guy. I saw that. I was like, dang, the Clippers are making moves. And we forgot about a lot of the moves last couple of years that they made. Like, they got nice role players, man. They got Norman Powell as a bucket getter. They got Luke Kennard as a sniper. Zubac is your traditional big man. Like, they got a really, really good roster. And you're adding John Wall to the mix? Jesus Christ. The roster's
loaded. Most improved.
All right, we got to relax, bro. Like, I'm just not. I was just arguing with this
the Clippers roster is loaded. They are ready to win.
I'll agree with that they are a sneaky deep team. But I was just arguing with this in the group chat. Shout out my boy D. He was how Zoo is about John Wall, and it's just no.
I gotta see it, man.
It's like he's been gone for a long time, and I don't give credit to he put stats up, and it's a bad team. You're gonna put stats up. Like, how is he gonna be as a winner? Like with a team that's trying to
stop it with the winning, man.
He's never happened.
Don't disrespect John. Never been a winner? What are you talking about, man? He revitalized that Washington franchise, man, to pretty much a playoff.
He had to do that. He underachieved as a number 1 overall pick, bro. You got to admit that.
What?
I don't think he
underachieved. This dude was a perennial all-star in the Eastern Conference. He saved that Washington. Do you forget what was happening? Have you forgot what happened with that Washington franchise, man? That Washington franchise had the Swaggy P's and the Gilbert Arenas and the guns and everything. That franchise was a disaster.
And that team made it further than John Wall ever did.
Gilbert Arenas? What are you talking about? Gilbert Arenas? He just got knocked out by LeBron, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and what has John Wall won?
Yeah, it went a couple second rounds a couple times, man.
Oh, okay.
It's the first overall pick.
Man, Nate Robinson brought this
You're talking about a team at the bottom, at the deeps of hell.
I don't know.
To a perennial. And what was the Washington Wizards done without John Wall? They've been irrelevant.
Arguing that.
Ever since John Wall left the franchise.
Impact, I'm not arguing that. Like, him and Bill's impact, like John Wall had a better impact than Bill.
Yes.
We're not arguing those two, but I'm just saying John Wall, like if he hadn't been hurt for so long, if you only get to the second round as a number 1 overall pick, I don't know, miss me with he's achieved a lot.
Yeah. Like, he's achieved a lot because that franchise is one of those bad franchises. Individually, he's been 20-10, man. This guy's been tremendous.
If he played, maybe if he wasn't as hurt, I would be like, okay, I'm with you. But he's been hurt for a long time. And to me,
the Houston Rockets just rested his butt. He was healthy. They just didn't want to play him last year.
Why would you do that?
Because they're trying to tank. And they tanked, and they got Jabari Smith, man. What do you mean why they did that, man?
Wasn't impact winning? They still would have been bad with him playing.
It's the OKC strategy, man. They got Al Horford. They just benched his ass because they're trying to tank, and they got Chet Holmgren.
Al Horford was not $40 million worth.
Yeah,
that's the other part. But I can't say anything about it.
I'm telling you,
I haven't seen him play in
damn
near 3 years.
I'm betting on the Clippers because this team is loaded.
And you can bet, but you can't say it's a lock that they're going to be the favorites.
If you want to place a bet on what are you looking at?
Oh man,
if you want to bet on. If you bet on them to make the finals, you probably get damn good odds. So, hey, look at the value pick. No, seriously. If John Wall comes back and he's cleared by all physicians, they're probably going to be a top 3 odds team in the West.
Absolutely.
I would say you can easily
absolutely.
Say that. But I would argue that the Warriors are probably going to be above them just because they're reigning champions. I don't know where you put the Lakers at that point, and I think you could argue that
I'll take Memphis. I'll take Memphis over there.
The Grizzlies, maybe a healthy Nuggets team. If they are able to come back healthy, those are kind of the two. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's a pretty wide open Western Conference. I agree with you. They'd have a chance. But to Sean's point, I haven't seen John Wall in a game decision moment let alone a first round playoffs. But if you're saying that making the conference finals in a game 6 and you're asking him to play under pressure, he hasn't had to do that in 3 years.
Reggie Jackson has done that.
Exactly. And he showed up. He put up better numbers than 20 and 6.
Bro, they almost made the finals with Reggie Jackson and Paul George. Against a Suns team who was really good.
Yeah.
Not saying Reggie Jackson at their apex is the same as John Wall, but I'm just saying Reggie Jackson's just not no slum.
He's a sixth man, man. I never said he was a bum. He's a sixth man.
John basically has to get to the finals this year, or this move was just. I mean,
I don't know about that. I think he has to get to the finals. Sean. Conference finals.
Okay, conference finals. But like you say, the whole combination of him not playing in a while, like I don't care what it is, the team buys you out for $40 million. Like you can say they're tanking. That's just crazy. And then to him going to the Clippers, like how many suitors were really there for John Wall? I think the Clippers front office is like.
I feel like there's. Do you know who should have got? Would have really want him? The Boston Celtics. Yep. I feel like if Boston got John Wall this year as a true playmaker,
I think that makes more sense than.
I feel like Brad Stevens right now is like, oh my god,
I think the wings.
John Wall. I'm telling you right now, if John Wall was on the Boston Celtics, they would have won the NBA championship.
Yeah. All right. So you got a question. Was any point guard that could dribble and run a set?
No, there's not many point guards that could get 10 assists like John Wall, man. There's not many playmakers out there like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got that true point guard in him. But Sean, I do want to ask you guys. I know this might sound like a stupid question, but I think one of the pivotal guy in free agency is PJ Tucker. Because I think any team would want PJ Tucker. If you're a championship level team, you add him to your team. Which team needs him the most, and who's going to go after him?
76ers are going to sign him because they're going to give him the most money.
Right out of my mouth, man. They need toughness. They need physicality. They need a little mean bone in them with Joel Embiid in the front line. You need an enforcer. He's the definition of an enforcer.
I was thinking the Nets. Man.
Oh, he could go there, but I think Daryl Morey is going to overpay for him.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he'd offer him more money.
Dude,
but I think if
his guy, man, Houston Rockets reunite with James Harden, even though it's not Houston James anymore, it's Sixers James, which has been an absolute disaster.
Winner of the trade, Purdue.
Bonfire James Harden with the 76ers.
Winner of the man. It looks like both of the teams are losers, man. Ben Simmons hasn't played a damn game, and James Harden has been a shell of himself.
But now if Kyrie and KD, if they're back in Brooklyn and Ben Simmons plays, you want to talk about, we haven't seen him play in a while, John Wall.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons would be great on that. He would be the Draymond Green of the team, man. A better Draymond Green.
Version. Yeah.
Better Draymond Green.
Could score, yeah.
Yeah.
Better Draymond.
But I don't know. I think PJ's the guy. I don't think Miami will be able to retain him. I think he was on a 1 year, like $10 million deal. I don't think the Bucks will try and bring him back, but I do think there's a couple teams. The Grizzlies could use a guy like he would fit really well into the Grizzlies hard-nosed system.
The whole mindset of the Grizzlies.
But if you're looking at like needs, I do think if Al Horford kind of continues to decline, Boston could take a look at him. They'd kind of run a lot of small ball with him. But I think the Nets and the Sixers are probably the two front runners, just fit wise.
What do you think Daryl would pay him?
Probably 15.
How many
15
years?
a year?
Yeah, 1 year deal.
I think Daryl would do that, bro. I think he would.
He got 10 in Miami.
Daryl was probably going to overpay for him, dog. I just don't know how many years he would give him. 2 or 3, maybe.
Oh, he wouldn't give. The dude's like almost 38 years old.
I think they give him a one. I think they give him more 1 year deal.
1 year deal.
Yeah. He's on that championship. He's on that championship circus route right now. That's what he's doing.
He is the perfect plug and play, and he's familiar with that team. So I think that the betting favorite is probably would be the 76ers because they're probably going to pay more, and he just has that familiarity. But it is interesting, thinking about the Nets. There could be a nice piece, to go along with, because one thing the Nets didn't do well in the playoffs last year while getting swept was they didn't have good defense. They didn't have that tough nose. You could just tell with Kevin Durant, it's just after he got roughed up a little bit, it's just everybody kind of went downhill.
Man,
so,
do you know who they need, man?
I don't know.
They really need Jared Allen, the guy that they got rid of.
Traded away. Wait, what did they trade him for? Was it James Harden deal or what was it for?
James Harden deal.
I'm just kidding.
James Harden deal. And he didn't even go to the Rockets, man. He was a throw-in. He was a throw-in. The Cavs flipped the pick for him. The Rockets didn't even want him. So, but Jared Allen, man, a rim protector, a guy that can help off ball.
Well, they probably thought Nick Claxton was going to be that guy, and he's not.
Yeah, or Drummond was going to actually rebound the ball.
They should have learned from what the Lakers did with Drummond the year before. I don't know why they thought Drummond at the Nets were going to be any different. Like, everybody had these expectations for Drummond with the Lakers, and he was
beasting in Detroit, man. He was getting 15, 20 rebounds.
20 rebounds, man. Freaking Dennis Rodman down there.
Yeah.
Bro, I think for me, just free agency wise, all this speculation. I think what I'm learning with the NBA is a lot of these players like the attention of like, let's just say DeJounte Murray is one of the guys. He's putting up quotes. He's putting up pictures of what am I gonna do next? Who knows? Like, I think a lot of these players like the attention of it, which is cool because it goes along with social media and the whole rise of the NBA. But I think like Bill, for instance, I think to his point, he's gonna opt out. He's gonna stay with Washington. He's gonna get that massive deal. James Harden, whatever deal they're going to give him, I don't know how many years, but he's going to stay in Philly.
It might be 2 to 3 years, might be a shorter term deal. That's
like if you could do 2 to 3 years, then I still wouldn't want to do it, but that's better than the 5-year extension.
Oh, no. Nobody in the NBA giving that dude a 5-year deal after that playoff atrocity.
That's another reason. If you do that, automatically fired, and it's 3 years show cause, you can't manage or do any GM work in the league after 3 years after you get fired. So another guy, Jalen Brunson. Like we say, we kind of hinted he was going to the Knicks. Rumored
$100 million has been discussed.
I would be
a lot of money.
More inclined to what Van Vliet got, which was the 85-90. If you tell me
I
that,
feel like that's the caliber of player that Jalen Brunson is.
Yeah, I think like who would you have?
Yeah, he might squeak in with one All-Star game performance, like what All-Star performance.
Like who do you think is a better player? I think it's probably Brunson, but not by much.
After that playoff performance. Like, that was a great, or maybe it's just the Utah Jazz. Like, I feel like the Utah Jazz might have helped Jalen Brunson's trade value go up like 50%. Because my God, their perimeter defense is atrocious. Like, it is atrocious. Like, that team had no Luka Doncic for a couple of games, and Jalen Brunson was putting up 27 points a game.
He showed show up,
playing pretty much like 1-on-1. Like, dude was just beating by people every single play. So, man, shout out to the Utah Jazz for getting him a bag. But $100 million for a second-round pick. So this will be his first real money contract. So I hope he gets his bag as he deserves it.
Yeah.
But New York Knicks, man, if that's your franchise cornerstone, my God, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle.
And RJ. Don't
so
forget
RJ
about Obi.
got a little upside in the future. Obi Toppin got a little upside in the future, but man, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, two lefties making $100 million as your two.
Yeah, I think Randle's definitely getting flipped. I just don't know what he's getting flipped for.
They should flip him because Obi Toppin as his replacement is just a cheaper Randle right now.
Bunch of protected first rounders probably. And that'll probably be their strategy.
That would be criminal if the Knicks did that. But Miles Bridges is another guy I'm looking at. I think Charlotte needs to pay him. And if it requires the max, they're just going to have to do it, unfortunately. Because I think his rapport with LaMelo is really good. Like, they're really good friends off the court. And I just think to make LaMelo happy, that's part of the reason. And he's a 3-and-D wing. Like, I hate to break it to you, like, if you watch the playoffs and watch the finals, those are very valuable pieces to have. Like, he's 24, he's improved, so it's not like he's just having this like outlier year. Like, this year was a great year, but if you look at his stats, he's gotten better each year. So I think that's a situation where if Charlotte lets him go to another team, that's going to be really disappointing because I like his game a lot.
And he fits.
Yeah,
as a complimentary player with LaMelo Ball, high flyer, man, good 3-point shooter, good lob threat. Like, and as you said, it's a wings league. So I think losing Bridges would just be stupid because it was one of the draft picks they actually hit. Like, they finally nailed it. Like, Michael Jordan finally nailed a draft pick. So if you lose the one pick that was a good pick, man, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. So
now I will say,
Bridges, that's your
small market too.
Now I will say, I think they probably are hesitant because they're going to have to figure out in the coming years with like paying LaMelo and stuff. So like if you got it, but to me, I would trade like Hayward and some of those other secondary
guys. Hayward contract.
Or get him out of there. I would try to find a trade partner to get him out of there so you can have Bridges, LaMelo as a core. And then, like I said, I like their draft pick. That might be a situation they might have to do. I mean, if I'm the Charlotte Hornets and I really want to pay Bridges and I have to pay him the max, and that means I got to shed some salary, I'd take that Westbrook contract because he's going after
like, Lakers, take Gordon Hayward's bad
contract.
Take
Hayward,
we'll take Westbrook,
Washington, whoever. Yeah, like I would do that if I'm Charlotte because that means I get to keep Bridges, and I'm definitely doing that. And I love their draft pick with Mark Williams because he's a lob guy and he plays defense. And Charlotte had no defense at all in center position.
No center.
Like no. Shout out to Mason up like 130 a game.
Shout out to him, but no, that's not going to work. It's just not going to work. He could be a nice backup probably, but no.
Yeah.
Mark Williams would need to be the guy. I think Mark Williams is like 7'1", 7'2", with like 7'6" wingspan. Like I don't think anybody's going to be getting shots up against him. So, yeah, that's another free agent signing. But to me, I think it's going to be a lot of, there's some restricted guys. Anthony Simons, I think Portland needs to match because he could be a nice compliment to Dame. And if he keeps, expanding his game, once Dame gets to the phase of where he's not who he is anymore, Anthony could just take over. Then you could have Anthony and Shaedon Sharp maybe in your backcourt, which would be really nice.
Dame
but
and CJ McCollum.
I'm trying to think of I don't know who, like, what is it? DeAndre Ayton is restricted. I don't know where he's gonna go. I don't think it's Phoenix though.
Centers, man, they're just not that valuable.
Yeah,
I feel like NBA teams are watching the finals and seeing what potential guys you need to win, and pretty much you got Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins as a two-way wing as the two most important players, and then you got Jaylen Brown, Tatum as the guys on the Celtics. So you need these
Robert
wings.
Williams.
Oh yeah, Robert Williams is a rim protecting guy. I call him Defensive Player of the Year instead of Marcus Smart. But DeAndre Ayton, if I'm giving that dude a max, I'm worried about my franchise.
That's true.
I'm worried.
For that money.
He's a really good center. He's a top 10 center, maybe like top 5, maybe. But if he's your second best player, your team ain't going anywhere. Not anywhere.
It wasn't when
Who would you get? DeAndre Ayton or Rudy Gobert? And Rudy got 220.
If Ayton gets the max, or Rudy with the super max,
max, dude. I think he's. I don't know about. Well, he can't get the super max.
What team though, man? I'm thinking what team? Like Spurs? I thought potentially Detroit, but now they gave they got Durant. So
Rockets.
Buford ain't that dumb. Oh, Rockets? No, dude, they got Sengun, man. They got Sengun. I don't know what team. I don't know.
I don't think he goes back to Phoenix, so I think he has to go somewhere. That's why I said the Spurs. I don't know any of the decent fits.
Maybe Sacramento's like
Memphis.
Memphis, nah. They got Jaren Jackson and Clark. Like they like their bigs.
Yeah. The reason why I say the Spurs make sense is because they just have a young team.
That's true,
and they could grow with him, and they have success of having really good big men, Tim Duncan, David Robinson. So they at least have a track record of developing. I don't know if those guys are still there. So. Because he doesn't fit a lot of because I thought about it. I don't see him fitting a lot of places. You could say Charlotte, but then they just got Mark Williams. He's not a fit in Atlanta. No, don't think he would fit in Miami, Philadelphia. Like, it's just not a lot of places where he would fit unless you're just a team that's trying to.
You might get Roy Hibbert. Only fits in one system. Can't really go out anywhere else. I don't know, man.
We made him more of a player than what he was before that. I would say that. Like, that's probably that's not even controversial.
Top 5 point guard of all time. Yep, I think that would help.
Made him so it also would behoove him to go somewhere where there's a really nice point guard that could really expand his game. So who knows?
Wait, I don't see any teams out
there. The Bulls,
John Wall.
The Bulls, I don't know, maybe.
Oh no, we got Vooch, man. We got one.
I'm not gonna hold you. If it's between Ayton and Gobert, I'd rather have Ayton. Because Ayton's not a slouch on defense, and he'll give you something on offensive end. Gobert's just straight defense. And you would have to give up more money. You'd have to give up assets to get Gobert. And I don't know if you would. What would you rather do? Get Ayton for a sign and trade, or give up assets for Gobert?
I'd rather pay the guy that's actually proven himself than a guy that has not. Does that make sense? Like, if you're giving Ayton a max, he could just become complacent. You know what I mean? Like, he could be one of those guys. He complains a lot.
Yeah, they say his motor, like they need like the guys to hype it up a lot. So
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna put this out right now. You have Ayton, you do sign and trade. You have because I don't think he goes for less than the max. So you have to either do that, the max for Ayton, or you have to do Gobert, but you give up Patrick Williams, a couple picks, and Kobe White.
Oh no,
you're not getting. Gobert.
I don't want Gobert, man, with that many assets, man.
I'm saying if you have to pick though.
I'll probably go with Ayton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I'd rather not give up all those assets. And in this league, you can flip players. Like Ayton. What if he's like good, and then in 2 years you can flip him for something? Like,
what if he's bad, and you can't flip him, and then it's on the contract on your books, and then you can't eventually pay Patrick.
Lonzo Ball's gonna get him the ball, man. I think Lonzo and Ayton lobs, man. I like that.
I'm talking about these setters that make max, man. You better be Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, because if you're not those dudes, I don't want you on my team.
Or Giannis,
let me tell you something. As you keep saying that, let me tell you something. Those are rare breeds.
Exactly.
You're not going to find those guys.
Exactly. My point is, you can find a Rob Williams or a Kevon Looney and win an NBA championship and making $10 million.
I agree with you.
Like a center out there that like Mo Bamba. This guy's improved his 3-point shooting game. He's got great length, tremendous length. Like I feel like the Bulls sent out with the mid-level, $10 million.
I mean, is he restricted?
Yeah, restricted free agency.
They'd have to match.
I feel like Orlando is like they got Wendell Carter, Banchero. That's their core. So maybe they're like, yeah, screw it, we don't need this dude. But I feel like a guy like that in a good system could be a really, really important player in the playoffs, and he's gonna go like a third of the cost if you give $8 and $30 million a year.
Yeah,
like the center position for me, man. You can find these defensive centers like
it's so much it was like it's so much. I feel like with the center position,
Looney, I'm sorry,
like 30. I don't even know what it. Like I feel like it's so high and low with the center position. I feel like they're either the rim running cheap guys, and lob guys, or they're like the max guys. There's no like in between, like a 4 for 110 center or like a 3 for
Chris Kaman.
Chris Kaman in the middle. Chris Kaman type center. There's none of them. Like you know who the guy for the Clippers, Zubac, like that type of center. Where I think he just got 3 for $33 million, like that type of medium. Yeah. There's no like guy that's in that middle. They're either really young rim running guys or like the expensive guys. So, as you guys can see, it's going to be really interesting with the free agency market. Like Zeus said, it's going to start June 30th at 6. So we're going to see a lot of deals take place. A lot of teams, do what they're going to do.
Come on, AK, man. Wheeling, dude, he was not at the initial press conference, man. He better be on the phone and talking to teams, man. He better be stout tampering, man. Undercover tampering.
Yeah, got to be you got to have a guy. You got to have a guy that tamper, so you don't have your fingerprints on it. So,
exactly.
It's gonna be a lot of teams doing that. And you know what? Even if you did get caught tampering, if the worst you get is $50,000 and second round pick, it'd be worth it if you get a really good player. Like who cares?
Slap on the wrist right there.
We already got our second rounder. We already got Io, man. We ain't hitting again on a second round pick for the next decade.
That's true.
So, a lot of interesting storylines coming up in the next couple of days. So make sure you guys tune into bullheaded_pod on Instagram. A lot of great content coming out on there. YouTube as well. Crunch on Knows. Put up YouTube Shorts. This video will be going up there as well. All of our streaming platforms with Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we're out.